Hello there, welcome back to the World Senior Snooker Championship, where today all eyes are on the legend Jimmy White, a four-time seniors champion, back to defend his crown. There's also a tornado in town, and if day one is anything to go by, we're in for a real treat.
Just when we thought the season was over, there is one last event to come as the stars of yesteryear get to turn back the clock here at the iconic Crucible Theatre.
Another cracking pot from James.
Coming here is the dream come true. It's a great arena.
Yeah, Ken is all at sea here.
In some of the balls he was potting Tyson. Just delighted to get through. I think there's the result that counts.
You know, there's so much pressure out here, you know, you just got to try and hold yourself together wherever you want to play.
He has no problem with that, forcing it. Look at that shot. Brazilian is through emphatically 3-1.
Really lovely to have your company this afternoon on Channel 5 for another great day of snooker, and I'm delighted to be joined by two legends today, Cliff Thorburn and Neil Foles. Good afternoon. Cliff, it is all about Jimmy White. A very exciting day ahead of us.
Yeah, well, he's won it 4 times, and I don't think anybody else has won it twice, so he's got a chance to win 5, and that would just be very superior. That's a nice feather in his cap. It certainly would be, and he's desperate to win it again, Neil. We know how much he's practiced, and in bright and early as well in the practice room this morning, wasn't he?
Listen, we all know he's a very different person these days. He puts all the hours in you can. He's very dedicated. He's up first. You can never go into the practice room in the morning without him already being in there, ready to play. So, yeah, he wants to win it again.
And here he is. Obviously, he's been a busy man, hasn't he, with all of his punditry work and his duties on TV. But this is what it's all about, isn't it, Cliff?
Well, I mean, obviously, he's practicing right now. But, you know, with Ken, he was so busy last week, and I was with him like for 5 days, and he wasn't prepared. And he would never be as prepared as Jimmy is at any time at all.
Yeah, well, on that, let's talk more about the Darling of Dublin, because it was a little bit of a scare yesterday, wasn't it? He showed his class, though, after a shaky start against the Australian Tyson Crinnis.
Yeah, he was very poor at the start. I mean, I can say that, and he'll probably admit it, but... Tyson rocked him a little bit, and you know, but the class came through, and Ken made 2 terrific breaks to win the match.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, I think that with Ken, you know, he's so full of energy. At the end of that match, he looked a little bit as if he needed a good night's sleep. I saw him leaving last night, and even someone like Ken, who's always on the go, he'd be pleased to have won. Sleep well, he'll be back today for more, you know, or tomorrow when he plays next.
Listen, you can all sleep on Sunday. We've got a lot of good snooker to come here on Channel 5. And what a legend, James Watson from Thailand. He was back as well. And a real exciting start to day one with a deciding frame up against Rodney Goggins from Ireland, Neil.
I thought he looked terrific, not only on the table, but when he came to speak to us afterwards. You know, he is somebody that is an iconic figure in snooker, not only in Thailand, in Asia, and basically throughout the world. And he still looks good and he still can play. It's lovely to see him back here.
And he was quite emotional as well to be back at the Crucible. It just does some lovely things to you here, doesn't it, Cliff?
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, he did say some very nice words, and you know, he's a real feel-good kind of guy. And I just love the way he plays. He just drops his tip down to the cue ball and pulls it back, and off he goes. And you know, he's got a game that's probably top 20 of any player that's ever lived.
Okay, he could be one of the big fancies maybe to lift the trophy here on a Sunday night at the Crucible. Well, let's take a little look back then on day one and how the draw is shaping up. We saw success for the brilliant Brazilian Igor Figueiredo, and what a fine effort it was last night by Tessa Davidson. He's through, and Stuart Watson from Stratford got the better of the former world number 2 Tony Knowles. And then on the bottom half of the draw, James Watson beating Rodney Goggins and Ken Doherty over Tyson Crinnis. Coming up this afternoon, very exciting day ahead of us. Tony Drago, the fastest of them all, up against Ireland's Michael Judge. That's up first, and we've been chatting about Jimmy White. Of course we have, looking for another seniors title, and he'll be up against Stormin Norman, they call him, Andrew Norman. But let's hear from both players of our first match. They've been chatting to Rob Walker.
Tony, the Tornado's back in town. Always great to have you here at the Crucible.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here. I'm really looking forward to it. And I did all my practice as much as I could, and now ready to go and see what's going to happen.
And good memories from last year with your run to the semis.
Yeah, I played well last year. Hopefully go two better this time.
And what's your assessment on where your game is?
Not really, no, because the last couple of months I didn't really put the preparation that I want to do due to personal reasons. But I did a couple of weeks. I put a couple of hours a day, and I'm hitting the ball well. But it's always how you're hitting it out there. Best of 5. You know, you could be in the next round in half an hour. You could be on your way home in 45 minutes. So.
Well, let's see. I know it's not going to be slow. Great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Michael, you look relaxed and ready as always.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I got back playing to try and get here. I won the qualifier at home in Carlow. And, prepared well to get here. I'm in good shape and looking forward to it, playing well.
And it's great to hear that it still means everything to get back here.
Yeah, it's absolutely sure. It's the Crucible. It's the theatre of dreams. So, I mean, who would not want to play here? You know, even just arriving yesterday and walking out there, having a look around gives you goosebumps. So, can't wait to get out there, you know. Hopefully I won't be too nervous.
And it's going to be a great match against Tony. It won't be slow.
No. Well, not on his part anyway. But, listen, it's to go out there and play a legend like Tony. You know, he's a legend on the table and he's a legend off the table. Wonderful guy. I go back years with him. So, it's a win. It's a no-lose situation, you know. But, I mean, I'm going to go out there and do my best and try and, you know, take home the Cup to Ireland.
Make sure you enjoy it. We can't wait.
I will. Thanks.
Very proud Irishman Michael Judge looking to bring the cup back to Ireland. And I think listening to Tony Drago, there are no lies there. It could be over in a half an hour with Drago. He's a fascinating player, such a brilliant player to watch as well when he's on it, Cliff.
Yeah, and, obviously he's very transparent, but he said that he's playing well, and I was watching him play for about 10 minutes, actually spotting balls for him, and he is... hitting the ball very well. Michael Judge won the UK Championship. He's playing well. And I think that either one of these guys could actually win the tournament.
You've been on your toes picking out balls for Tony earlier.
This is something I never thought I'd see. Tony Drago potting balls and Cliff putting them back on the spot as quickly as he could. But he's struggling to keep up with Mr. Drago there. Look, Tony is... He's one of my favourite people I've ever met in snooker, you know. It's a roller coaster. There's highs and lows, but he's a good guy. And he could really thrill the crowds here today because he's got something very special.
And a great crowd in as well to enjoy the snooker with us. And just taking a look at Tony Drago's great career in this game, made a 144 at the 1996 World Championship. He's played in 13 World Championships and a Crucible quarter-finalist in 1988. He's the former world number 10. And, of course, he was in the semi-final of the World Seniors not too long ago, guys.
Yeah, because that was when Jimmy beat him 4-1, but actually it was a lot closer than that. A couple of frames he could have won. But one thing you know about him, he's still got that gift. He's still a good player.
Certainly is, and a very good player. Coming through the qualifying is Michael Judge. He won in Carlow, and he's here to play at the Crucible. Let's check in with our commentary team, shall we? Good afternoon, gents. It's Mike Dunn and Dennis Taylor. What more can you tell us about Michael Judge ahead of this one?
Good afternoon, Rachel. Michael Judge. Well, these players have only played each other twice, believe it or not, in their career, and it's one each. They've played 2 matches, and the frames are 9-7, so they're pretty evenly matched. So Michael's in with a great chance, but just talking about Tony Drago and Cliff setting the balls up for him, I remember practicing with Tony at the Grand Prix many years ago for an afternoon, and I had to go and lie down in a darkened room after flying around the table for 2 hours.
Look, all I would say is there's a tornado going to come into the Crucible here. So if you're watching at home, do not leave the screen. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun.
It certainly is, guys. Thank you so much. And even if you think about making a cup of tea, don't, because you might also miss some of the great Tony Drago. Right, you guys, we've been chatting about both players. Cliff, who do you think might be the winner of this one?
Well, I've got to go with Tony. I'm just... I just feel like he's going to start off the way that he did last year, and he's got game. He's just gonna, I'll tell you, he can't wait to start walking towards the next shot after he pots the ball.
He wears his heart on his sleeve. We all know that. He's been through a bit of a tough time, but it's been a big challenge for him to get here to play. So we're all very delighted that he's here.
Yeah, it's great to see him here, but it is a tough game against Michael Judge. You know, he played here in 2001. It turns out he beat John Parrott. It seems everyone's beaten John Parrott because James Watson has beat him. And it seems like, you know, as great as John was, I've looked at all the stats, they've all beaten him. And I hope you're watching, John.
And John's celebrating his 60th birthday at the weekend, so we wish him a happy birthday after you've just given him all the stick. We're ready. They've got their cues, and we'll see you for snooker here on Channel 5 right after the break.